Title: The Spy Who Saved a Kingdom. In the early 16th century, Spain was a rising power in Europe. The union of Ferdinand II of Aragon and Isabella I of Castile had brought together two powerful kingdoms, creating a formidable state. But as Spain grew stronger, so did the threats against it. France, under King Louis XII, was a chief rival, and whispers of a secret alliance between France and the Ottoman Empire began to reach Spanish ears. If these two powers united, they could challenge Spain's dominance and plunge Europe into chaos. Our story begins in Seville, where a young man named Diego Garcia worked as a quiet, unassuming clerk in the city's bustling markets. But Diego was no ordinary clerk. He was a spy, recruited by Francisco Jiménez de Cisneros, the Archbishop of Toledo and trusted advisor to the Spanish crown. Diego's mission was to travel to France, infiltrate the court of King Louis XII, and uncover the details of the rumored alliance. Disguised as a French merchant, Diego embarked on a perilous journey to Paris. Along the way, he traveled with a caravan of traders, carefully maintaining his cover while gathering valuable information. The roads were dangerous, but Diego was resourceful and cautious, managing to avoid trouble. Upon arriving in Paris, Diego quickly established himself in the city's markets, trading in fine cloths and exotic spices. But his true goal was to gain access to the French court, where the intrigue was thick and the stakes were high. Diego knew that King Louis XII was a shrewd ruler, and gaining the trust of his inner circle would be no easy task. Diego's opportunity came when he was invited to a courtly event. The French court was a dazzling place, filled with noblemen and women, each vying for the king's favor. Diego observed everything, paying particular attention to Cardinal Georges d'Amboise, the king's trusted advisor. The cardinal was rumored to be the mastermind behind the alliance with the Ottomans. Through careful maneuvering, Diego managed to ingratiate himself with the cardinal's household, gaining the trust of key servants. He spent weeks gathering information, slowly piecing together the details of the alliance. Finally, he learned of a secret meeting between the cardinal and an envoy from the Ottoman Empire to be held in a secluded chateau outside Paris. Diego knew this was his chance. On the night of the meeting, he slipped into the chateau, avoiding the guards and making his way to the room where the discussions were taking place. Hidden in the shadows, Diego listened as the cardinal and the Ottoman envoy outlined their plans. The alliance was indeed real, and it posed a grave threat to Spain. But just as Diego was about to make his escape, he was discovered. The guards had found him, and there was no way out. Diego was taken prisoner and brought before King Louis XII himself. The king was impressed by Diego's audacity, but knew he could not let him live. Diego's fate seemed sealed. However, as Diego stood before the king, he saw an opportunity. He boldly proposed a deal. If the king spared his life, Diego would work as a double agent, feeding Spain false information while secretly serving the French crown. King Louis, always one to seize an advantage, agreed. But Diego had no intention of betraying Spain. Instead, he used his new position to send false reports to France, leading them to believe that Spain was preparing for an invasion from the north. This caused King Louis to divert his troops, weakening the alliance with the Ottomans and giving Spain the upper hand. In the end, the alliance between France and the Ottomans fell apart, and Spain remained safe. Diego returned to Seville a hero, though his role in the affair was kept secret. He continued to serve the crown, his life now a delicate balancing act between truth and deception. Twist ending. Years later, an old and weary Diego received a letter bearing the royal seal of Spain. It was an invitation to return to service, not as a spy, but as the king's personal advisor. As Diego read the letter, he realized that the game of shadows was far from over. The kingdom might have been saved, but there were always new threats on the horizon. And so, with a knowing smile, Diego prepared to return to the world of intrigue, ready to once again play his part in the delicate dance of power.